I, 32 mem, am divorcing my wife, 33F, after finding out that my son, 5M, is not mine. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I found out that my wife cheated on me 6 years ago. The way I found out is that her sister told me after going to visit her to find out how the delivery of her first child was. She confessed to me that 6 years ago, my wife told her that she slept drunk with her best friend. In her words, my wife was very sorry. At the time, she told me I was with my son, and immediately after leaving her house, I went to take a paternity test with him, fearing the worst. A week later, I get the results, and my fears came true. My son is not mine. For some reason, I began to see the boy differently, more as an acquaintance than a son. With proofs in hand, I confronted my wife at night when the child was sleeping. She asked me who told me, and I simply told her that it is none of her business. Although, obviously, it will not take long to connect the dots that it was her sister. Well, that is not my problem now. Regardless of that, I asked her for a divorce, which is now in process. She was devastated. She swore to me more than once that nothing happened with anyone again, that she has been faithful to me in body and soul since then. I held back the urge to insult her to avoid complications during the divorce issue, not believing a word she said, mostly blaming the alcohol instead of taking the blame herself. After talking about it, she threatened me saying that she would demand full custody of the child. I was so annoyed at that moment that I told her, "Okay, I don't want anything to do with something that is not mine, that she keep the child, and I'll keep the dogs. We have 2 dogs that we adopted as puppies, and they are currently 8 years old each." After my words, she tried to convince me to take care of the child with her, that I am his father. At that moment, I exploded. I was so angry and I had held back so much the urge to scream that I just yelled her to go and take her bastard with her. A week has passed since that, and I am at home. It is in my name because it is a gift from my parents. She went to her parents' house with her kid. She has not called me since then. She left with everything and the half-asleep kid when I yelled at her, especially since it was the first time I really yelled at her. It sure affected her. I talked to my parents, and my dad told me that I did the right thing and that I shouldn't be raising something that is not of my blood, and I agree with him. However, the pain is still there. My younger brother told me to write here to entertain myself. I am currently seeing a therapist 3 times a week, who told me that I have already taken the first step, which was to leave behind what causes me pain. It just hurts to know that my family no longer exists. Regarding why my sister-in-law told me everything, according to her, she felt guilty seeing me always happy with my son, knowing that he may not be mine, and that the fact that we went to visit her in a moment of weakness caused her to completely break down with guilt. I don't know how true that is. I just know that right now I feel tremendous hatred for my wife and a feeling between pain and resentment for the child, although it's just time to get ahead. I just hope the divorce goes smoothly. We have separate financiers and properties, and if she really asks for child support, I have proof that it's not mine. According to my lawyer, that's more than enough. If she tries a legal process for that, my therapist also recommended that I not see him nor her, that regardless of the child's feelings, I should focus on my own first, that the child is no longer my problem, and the sooner I accept it, the better. Update: I, 32M, am divorcing my wife, 33F, after finding out that my son, 5M, is not mine. Well, 2 weeks have passed since my first publication, and 3 weeks since everything happened. Not many relevant things have really happened, but here is a short summary. Approximately 3 days after my publication, my ex came to my house and asked to come in. I went out and met her at the door. I told her that she is not going to set foot in my house while I am here. If she is going to say anything, let it be at the door. Well, she practically begged me to take her son back, that if I want to cut off all contact with her, that's fine, that she deserves it, but that she can't raise a child alone, that she has job, that raising him alone is going to destroy her dream of being a notary. She works in public records and is 2 more years away from running for the judiciary to get a vacancy to have her own notary. I tried to explain to her in the calmest way I could that my therapist is the one who recommended me to cut off all contact with the 2 of them, and to please leave my door before I lose my mind. I love the child, but I don't want to take out my anger on an innocent, even less considering that this innocent is the product of her inability to keep her legs closed. I said this last thing with a bit of anger, but I never raised my voice because we were on the street, that the child deserves better, and that she is currently responsible giving it to him. I don't know how, but that's not my problem anymore. After that, we talked a little more. She resisted the urge to try to cry and make a scene because, once again, we were on the street, and she is someone who always She took into account what people said about her. The last thing she asked me was to at least let her see the dogs. I told her no, that the best thing is for them to get used to her absence. See her again after so much time will only make them euphoric. After that, she just nodded and left. 2 days after that, she called me when she received the divorce papers. My mistake was answering the phone because immediately after about 30 minutes she was yelling, to which I later managed to say that the papers must have the number of my civil lawyer so she can call her if she has any questions. After that, I silenced her number. She has not come to my house since then, nor tried to call again. That same day, I contacted a friend that I made during my master's degree and I told her to go out. She accepted, and well, we've been going out since then. Finally, last Friday, I told her to be an exclusive couple and she accepted. She has stayed asleep at my house for a few days. She already knows my dogs and adores them, which I appreciate because I couldn't start something with someone who doesn't accept my pets. We are currently taking things easy. She knows the drama I am having with my ex and the child, and she respects my decision. She asked me if I will ever have contact with the child again. I told her maybe when he is of age to understand my decisions, but that I don't expect it to interfere with my life in the future, to which she just nodded and was glad that I take myself as a priority during this process. Maybe this took a little longer than I expected, but this is the summary of what happened these days, and well, many people have been asking me for an update, so here it is. Second update, I, 32M, am divorcing my wife, 33F, after finding out that my son, 5M, is not mine. Well, how to say it, I'm officially a divorced man. In my country, there is a type of divorce called quick divorce, in which, if there are no common assets, joint finances, and children involved, the divorce can be carried out municipally and not judicially, avoiding the entire process involved, which would have included conciliation, distribution of assets, etc., etc. Based on what has been mentioned, you can guess that the only problem was the issue of the son that we both have. Well, there came the issue of the paternity test, with which it was possible to verify that said child is not mine and that my name was successfully taken from his birth certificate along with my last name. The child currently has both of his mother's last names. Regarding how the divorce went, it was not easy. My ex-wife tried more than once to use the child's mental state to make me return to her. And although I thought about it more than once, it was thanks to remembering everything that happened. That allowed me to stay focused. I must also thank my current partner who supported me at all times and always supported my decisions. I already know that none of this is my fault, but having her tell me this also somehow helped me. Finally, after many discussions and with our lawyers involved, I told her that I can pay her half of what a nanny's salary costs for her son while she fixes her life, but that the other half. But whatever comes after, she will have to pay for it entirely for herself, to which thank God she agreed. But I told her not to expect me to take care of her son for her, to which she agreed. She has always been a person very dedicated to her work, so I suppose that having to be a single mother has shocked her a lot. In any case, for mere curiosity, I asked her if she spoke with the child's father, to which she said that she tried, that he even lived with them for 2 weeks in her parents' house, but that he and his son simply have nothing in common and there is no way they can get along. Even she has had to intervene so that he and the child does not end up screaming to each other. So, after a pair of weeks, the guy just left her home. Anyway, although it is somewhat sad, she is a woman with a good job and with a good figure. In a year that she will have the help of a nanny, it is more than enough time for her to find a suitable stepfather for her son. In the meantime, I don't plan to talk to him yet. Maybe I will do so in a couple of years or when he's a teenager. But if the child doesn't want to talk to me, I'm simply not going to insist. I understand if he hates me, so I won't try to have a relationship with him if he doesn't want to. After everything we talked about the child, she told me that she hated me, and even more that I got a partner so quickly, which I thought was very rude because my current partner was there with us and I had to intervene before that an argument between the two occurred, even though she ended up signing the divorce papers and that she appreciated my help. She couldn't stand that throughout the conversation I looked down at her, as if I felt compassion for her. She has always been a fairly proud person because everything she has achieved has been on her own merit, so me looking down on her as making her less than me made her feel hurt and angry. I told her that I know what she's talking about. I just have the same look as always. I seriously think she has some paranoia problem, but hey, that's not my problem either. The important thing is that she ended up signing the papers and that I can finally have my life again. Although for a year I will be paying half the minimum wage for a nanny, it is a fair price for peace, I suppose. I had bad feelings for her too, but during this month I ended up just accepting it and moving forward. Yes, I hate her too, but not enough to say it directly or to wish her a bad karma. I suppose she has enough with her problems. I thank my current partner for having to put up with all this shit. More than once I told her that she didn't have to accompany me to meetings or worry about it, that they are my problems. But she said that my problems are hers too, and that I shouldn't carrying all that alone. The truth is that it has helped me a lot to take a load off my shoulders. She also understands that I am in no hurry to get married, not this year and possibly not the next, and she understands it. Well, at least this chapter of my life it is about to close without long-term consequences for me.